Welcome back to The Outsiders Show. I am your host, Dola. Tonight, we explore the things left behind in the dark corners of a new house. Sometimes, those things aren't just toys, they're roommates. This is episode 3, The Dummy That Lurks. Sammy didn't want to move into the house on Miller Street. It smelled like mothballs and damp wood, and every floorboard screamed when he stepped on it. But the real trouble started when he climbed the pull-down ladder into the attic. Tucked behind a stack of yellowed newspapers was a velvet bag. Inside was Billy. Billy was a ventriloquist dummy from a different era. His face was painted a sickly pale peach, and his glass eyes were a piercing frozen blue. His jaw hung loose, revealing a row of wooden teeth that looked just a little too sharp. "Just an old toy," Sammy's dad said, sitting Billy on the shelf in Sammy's new room. But the bad luck started that very night. First, Sammy's bike tires were found slashed in the garage, clean, jagged cuts that no nail could make. The next day, his favorite posters were shredded into confetti. Then, his math homework was covered in black, oily fingerprints that smelled like old varnish. "I didn't do it!" Sammy pleaded, but his parents didn't believe him. They didn't see what Sammy saw. Every time something went wrong, Billy's head was turned just a few inches more towards Sammy, and his painted-on smirk seemed to be growing wider. One night, the bad luck turned dangerous. Sammy woke up to a rhythmic tap-tap-tap on his headboard. He froze. In the moonlight, he saw a small, shadow-drenched figure sitting at the foot of his bed. Billy wasn't limp anymore. He was sitting perfectly upright, his wooden legs crossed. His neck moved with a series of wet clicking sounds as he turned his head 180 degrees to face Sammy. "Bad luck is just another word for consequences, Sammy," the dummy whispered. The voice didn't come from his mouth. It sounded like dry leaves scraping together inside Sammy's own ears. "You woke me up. Now you have to pay the rent." Billy lunged. He moved with a sickening, jerky speed, his wooden joints popping like firecrackers. Sammy scrambled back, grabbing a heavy trophy from his desk and swinging it. The metal connected with Billy's chest with a hollow thunk, sending the dummy flying into the closet. Sammy didn't wait. He grabbed Billy by his tiny, stiff suit and dragged him toward the hallway. He remembered the laundry chute, a deep, dark hole that led straight down to the basement furnace. With a yell, Sammy shoved the thrashing, biting dummy into the chute. He heard Billy's wooden body bounce off the metal walls until a distant thud echoed from the basement. The next morning, Sammy felt like a weight had been lifted. The air in the house felt warmer. He walked down to breakfast, ready to forget the nightmare. "Look what the postman just brought, Sammy," his mom said, holding a small cardboard box. "A neighbor found this in the driveway and thought it belonged to you." Sammy's heart stopped. He slowly opened the box. Inside was a single, charred, blackened wooden hand. It was burnt nearly to a crisp, but the fingers were curled into a fist. And on the palm, written in fresh, wet red ink, were 3 words: "Collecting on Part 2." Sammy looked down at his own hand. He tried to flex his fingers, but they felt stiff, hard. As he watched, his skin began to turn a pale, painted peach color. When he tried to scream for his mom, all that came out of his throat was a dry wooden click. Sammy thought he burned the past, but some debts are written in wood. This has been The Outsiders Show. I am Dola. Be careful what you find in the attic, because some dummies don't like being played with. Good night.